Hello all and welcome to another video in my journey to 1 million Gamerscore series, and it's time to bring to you November part 1 because the first half of November is now done. So what did I do? Well, I've nabbed a couple of real easy completions. They're both under an hour, and in fact one of them is under half an hour, and I've also decided to do a little bit of theming with these now. In sort of each sort of part I'm going to be trying to play sort of a group of games from one area, and what I've decided to do is play kart and racing games from the Xbox 360. However, they take up so much time, and I still have some more kart and racing games to play, that part 2 will also be Xbox 360 kart and racing games. So stay tuned for that, and with that let's crack on with the games and show you what I've been playing. There is still other stuff there as well, but we have been playing some kart and racing games. The month actually started with me playing a little bit of Need for Speed Pro Street, but I did return to that. But I want to start from the bottom of the list of everything that was played the first half of November, and that means I'm going to be starting with a Stuntman Ignition. Quite a fun game, but it was quite samey, as you can imagine, so I kind of played it in bouts and will probably return to it at a later date. Now, there are a lot of difficult achievements in this one. If you want to go through every series within sort of a section and get 5 stars out of it, it is very difficult. It'll be very time consuming, and I decided that I would go for just getting 1 star in each of these series in each section, which is what I did twice for 2 30G achievements, and I just nabbed a couple of other little achievements kind of along the way without trying. You see, I got a 1 star in all scenes in that section, and along the way I unlocked 500 or more close points in one movie scene, and 1 star in all aftershock scenes, and somewhere along the line I earned 300 or more airborne points in one movie scene, so that came along naturally. Yes, you'll crash and flip your car a lot, so I've got a little 5G achievement for flipping my car for the first time, and igniting your vehicle is actually pressing Y during stunt scenes, which you will need to do to sort of ignite things around you, funnily enough, and also do things like slide under lorries on your bike as well. They all count. So yes, I mean, like I said, there is 5-star ranking in all aftershock scenes, which is a rare achievement, so there are a lot of those sort of things in this game and difficult, but I will return to it perhaps and get 1 star in another scene and get the 30G achievement for that. There's a lot of cumulative achievements as well for getting so many close passes and things like that as well, so some of those will probably come through my multiple attempts. You will take multiple attempts at many of the levels and just finishing, because it only allows you a certain amount of errors before they cut the scene and make you start again, basically. But it was a Games with Gold, so that was in my digital backlog, so I did think that having a little go at that would be fun, and in short bursts it is. Above that, first completion of the month, a super easy game, but only with a guide. I must stress, only with a guide. It is a point-and-click adventure. There is no playing football at all, and this one is totally down to Achievement Land. I owe full credit to the completion to them and their amazing guide that is online. Literally, it is probably some of their best work that I have ever used to date. It's absolutely bang on, spot on. The guide time runs about half an hour, but I always say add time on for following along. Like me, you may need to pause it multiple occasions, but there are several sections where you'll be able to follow it as it's playing as well. It really is a bang on guide and some of their best work. So half an hour to an hour completion with the guide, only with the guide, and I will put a link to their channel in the description below. You'll be able to pick it up from there, or on my channel I do have a playlist called Guys I've Used with 100% Success and Can Vouch For, and you will find the exact guide that I use by them in there. Above that is a little fun retro looking side-scrolling platformer. It does look exactly like it does in the thumbnail. This was a lot of fun, and you'll see the little character on the left there. You'll start as him and you'll progress through the level, and if the dog appears you grab onto the dog and it becomes basically sort of like an endless runner side-scrolling platformer. Yes, there's enemies and things like that in the way, and you'll need to complete the levels without being hit. The levels are quite short, they're not lengthy, and with a little bit of trial and error you will be able to progress through them. I got a lot of the achievements for finishing worlds, I know that, and then I went back to some levels and did some miscellaneous stuff that I could pick up on, basically, and the one at the top there is one of the ones that I went back. I played the first level over and over again, and each time you finish it will register to your total overall score on the top left of the screen, so you'll be able to see how far you are moving along. I don't know if it counts if you fail the level, but the achievement did actually unlock before it said 1 million in the top left hand corner, but not by a lot. So I don't know if failed runs always register towards that total, but the first level is so easy. Once you get the hang of it, you'll end up speed running it all the time. But let's go to the bottom and sort of, we'll do this in the chronological order that I unlocked them. Beat a level within target time, so I knew about this achievement, so I thought that I would go for it in the first level once I'd learnt it, and just go through it, knocking out every baddie in the level. You'll do that with, you can throw fruit basically as your attack, and there are more fruit to pick up during the level, so you'll never run out basically as well. Just make sure you knock out every enemy that appears on the screen. You'll see below here that I haven't unlocked completely the volcano world. The boss on that is super hard, it's really difficult, and I need to return to it to try and do that. But jumps off the surface of the water, you'll probably do that. If you hit the water, you can actually press jump on it and you'll sort of bounce off it. Stand on it too long, you'll drown and die. The first one is beach world. Whiz through that and complete any level without throwing fruit, so bear that in mind. You can jump on enemies to kill them, so that can happen, so don't feel like you need to throw it, so that's not too hard if you target it. Complete the desert world. See, with this also, after you fail a certain amount of times, it will throw up invincibility, so that to help you with the level, basically saying you failed so many times, here's a little bit of a hand. So yes, you can get all the way through to the volcano world like I have done, and I must admit I have used it to get through in many a level. I'm not going to lie to you there. Completely loved the failing 25 times. Some of the later levels, that's going to happen. Mountain world I completed again. I think I used invincibility. Round total of 50 kilometers is cumulative, so it will happen. Complete the ruins world by doing exactly the same thing. Earn an S rank in a level. This may happen, but if you go back to the first level, like I say, and perfect it, you know, make sure you end the level holding 5 fruits, finish it in the target time, kill a whole bunch of enemies, collect every coin in the level as well, and you'll get the S rank. But that level is so short and easy to learn, you'll probably get it in there. I think I actually got it along the way in a boss level, so for beating that real quick. So you might unlock that along the way, but if you do struggle, you can pop back to the first level. Complete level without counting any baddies. I think I had to use level 1, 2 or 1, 3, I can't remember, because in the first level you have to jump on 3 enemies in a row to cross a gap, so you can't actually get that in level 1, 1. So it's either 1, 2 or 1, 3, and then you can jump over some enemies on the floor and time it to run under some enemies that sort of loop up and around in a jumping motion, or jump out of the water as well. So yes, that's not too hard as well, even though it is rare. And then of course I would explain to get the 1 million in play mode, so really fun game actually, so don't just pass it by if you ever see it cheap, consider buying it. I do recommend that one, was a lot of fun. And I wish I could recommend Need for Speed Pro Street. Unfortunately, as far as Need for Speed games go, this was one of the least enjoyable I've played, so sadly, I didn't enjoy it much. So after a while I decided to bail on it pretty much. I decided to, once I got to the first Showdown 1 in career, and I thought, well, I'll beat that and I'll unlock the achievement for beating Showdown 1 in career. And what if a crashing total car I knew about, and I tried to go for it by driving multiple walls in a regular race, and I just could not do it. And then you have to do these drag races, and what I soon realised is there's 2 damn great big concrete posts right at the end of these drag race strips. So I aimed for them at a very fast speed, and that is enough in one foul swoop to wipe out your car. But yes, the little 5G achievement, you give me achievement for it, I'm going to do it. Finish 5 career ranked race days with no car damage, so that will come along pretty much with progressional if you just take your care when driving. Or what if we're winning a career race day, nice easy achievement. Or what if we're dominating a career race day, that's not too difficult either. So I did that. I finished a whole bunch of sort of career ranked race days in order to unlock Showdown Career 1, and then went from there basically, because I just wasn't enjoying it. It felt like a poor Forza Motorsport game, to be honest with you. It just wasn't fun. I like my Need for Speeds to be street racing games basically. So yes, didn't really enjoy it unfortunately, but it's got a quick little 105G out of it. Well, I say quick, I think all of that work probably took me anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. I know it's a broad margin, but that's all I can really say, I'm afraid. So I decided to play Superbike games. I've got 3. I've played this one to a finish that I'm happy with, because there's a load of online achievements and there's a load of stuff that I'm probably not going to be able to get. I've nearly finished with SBX SBKX, so the 2010 version. Trying to sound hip there, aren't you? So SBK08, I did a lot of these, like win a race, win 10 races, win 20 races, and then win the SBK World Championship. There are 12 courses in the championship, I decided, and each course has 2 race days, so 2 races. So what I did is, I must admit, I played it on the lowest setting possible and still struggled because I am rubbish at motorbike games. So yes, once I got that and eventually mastered the mechanics a little bit, it then became easy to win all of those races, and I played through a lot of seasons. You'll see why in a minute, but I won all 24 races in the first season by playing on a low enough level setting, and I thought before going for another season I'll have a little bit of fun and knock off these 2 achievements. I had to change the realism settings to extreme in order to do this. The only way I could injure my rider 5 times was to start a race, turn round, wait for everybody to come round, and then hit another driver head on, and that would injure him. I couldn't do it by driving into walls. The annoying thing was, instead of quitting right out and saving it, I thought after I'd done it I'd press restart. That's not good enough. You have to actually back out. You have to press start and back right out to get to the injure, to basically re-injure your driver. So yeah, you need to mark the race as finished, basically. Press race done, not restart. So I did that 5 times. Braking your bike, you have to drive into walls about 3 or 4 times, even with it on extreme settings. So I did that as well. That's a little bit rarer, and that just takes longer. That is why. Anyway, so we played another season and finished all 12 race days on that. I eventually, because I didn't want to do all the qualifying and I wanted to speed up time, I would start from the back of the grid every race. So you can skip qualifying and all that. You just stay on the screen without going to the track and hold down Y to make time move even faster. So I did that, and then I won a second season, and I think I just accepted not winning on a couple of the rainy days, and then played a few races into the third season. Eventually I won 50 races. I thought the 100G achievement was well worth going for that and putting a lot of time into it. And around about this marker here, I probably played the game for about 6 hours, I've got to be honest with you. I then thought I'd do a couple of more random achievements before bailing on the game completely, because perform 10 burnouts, you have to hold both triggers without moving, and then you'll sort of spin around in a donut motion, count 10 sort of rotations, and then you'll be able to move off, win the race, you won't win the race because all the other bikes will shoot off, but finish the race, and you're like a 50G achievement for no effort at all. What I did is I kept it on the easiest setting, and I set the lap counter on the race to the lowest you can, which is just 1 lap. So I spun around in a circle 10 times, burning out, although I let it go to 20 to be safe. That I'd made sure that I'd done 10 burnouts, and then I completed the lap, got a nice easy 50G achievement. And then you ran 3 laps in the wrong way in a single race. This is worth less but takes more time and a little bit more effort. So the race starts, you set it to 1 lap, and you race forward enough to cross the start finish line. You then have to turn round, like it says, 3 laps in the wrong direction, but once you've passed the start finish line the wrong way for the 3rd time and turn round, you don't just do 1 lap, you have to negate the 3 laps you've done the wrong way round. So you have to do 3 laps the right way round again, do the lap that you were supposed to do in the start, and then that will count. So you have to do a lot of laps for your 25G achievements, 7 in total if you add them up like that. But yes, I nabbed that out of the way, and basically a lot of the achievements I've got left is doing the track time. Let's go down. I can't remember. See, there's a lot of online records. Do these time attack modes. Wow, they are tough times. I couldn't even do one. It was just beyond me. So I decided to move on from the game and go into the 2010 iteration of the game. And this was, again, now I got the hang of it, it was a lot of fun. There's loads of modes. There's a simulation mode, there's a quick championship mode, there's arcade mode, and just things like that. So I played through a few arcade modes and got a few random achievements. I just want to go to the beginning here because you can unlock, let's do the maths quickly, 40G, yes, 40G there, in less than, I want to say 20 minutes. So you get a 5G achievement for pressing start, and just under 7% of people have put this game in their Xbox and not pressed start and took it back out again. Look at that unlock percentage. It should say 100% really. But there you go, a quick 5G achievement for basically pressing start. I found the credits within the menus. Watch those. You have to let it run and eventually it'll pop sort of 3/4 of the way through / towards the end, and there's 20G in no time at all. So I went into a quick race in arcade mode and won that, because you can set that on the lowest setting and set yourself to front of the grid as well. So done that and won that. So I went into simulation mode to do the career there. I thought that'd be a nice thing to do first, and got that achievement without even trying, because I just went fast enough in the first race. I won my first. That's what I did. I didn't go straight into the career. I decided to do the at least one quick race with 100 race length in simulation, which is 22 laps. So allow around about 45 minutes if you pick the shortest course available to you. Because what I did is I looked at the record lap times for each course, and I picked the one with the shortest record lap time, because that's going to be the shortest race, even if I am a little bit rubbish at it. So yeah, I think it took me about 45 to 50 minutes to get this one achievement alone, but for 40G I'm going to do it if you give me an achievement, which I believe I can do. So yes, I got that one, but I surprisingly got that along the way, and then I decided to go to simulation mode and build a career. So I created a driver. I accepted a contract from the STK team, which I believe is basically the starting out team, and I saved a setting on my bike. I literally just moved something by a fraction and then saved it. That's in the settings. Beat at least one special opponent. You'll come up against someone with a crown who's basically a rival. Beat that one with a crown over his head and you'll do it. Basically what I was doing again was skipping all of the qualifying and practice modes by holding down RB on this one, not Y, and letting time pass, and then I would just start from the back of the grid because it was uneasy. I would get to the front and hold on. Sometimes I would need to stop and restart the race. You can do that, it won't penalise you for it. In fact, you can finish the race and then restart it again and get the points you need. It won't penalise you for that. So I won the first race, and then I realised there was this achievement for talking to your engineer, basically have a technical meeting, which is basically just picking a load of text options. There's an achievement for watching a replay for the first time. That is in the menu immediately after you finish a race, so just press that, it unlocks straight away. You don't need to watch the whole replay. There are 3 teams, so you have to work your way through the WSS team before you get an offer from an SBK team, but you'll need to win championships with all 3 for an achievement, which is what I did and went for. So we did eventually accept an offer from an SBK team, and in the same career sign at least 3 contracts, so you'll pick that up along the way, because you'll then unlock this achievement here. So I want a career with all 3 of those teams or classes, whatever it is. Also, one of my failed attempts at a race where I thought I'm going to restart the race, I realised there was an achievement for going in the pits. So I thought, well, before I restart it, I'll just nip into the pits, because I chose to do 2-lap races in all my careers in the previous game and this game, because it allows for a little bit of error and also a little bit more time to get to the front, because I was skipping the time and starting at the back of the grid every time. So I did that. But anyway, yes, on one of my failed attempts where I skidded off or got hit by another bike and fell over, I thought, right, nip into the pits, get that achievement, because you won't need to ever use the pits in any of the races you're doing. You get rep points for every race, as long as you finish in a positive manner, and then you get bonus points, reputation points, if you win a career. And by the time I'd won, literally winning the 3rd career, or the championship in the 3rd career, gave me the points to push me up to 990 points. So that was a nice 50G achievement as well for finishing that 3rd career. And then we rounded off by going into a quick championship, which you basically have to do all in one sitting. I think it's 12 races, but you can set the laps down to 1. And the good thing about this is you don't need that 2nd lap sort of barrier, which I've set myself before. You can set the laps races down to 1, and you can start at the front of the grid as well. But wherever you finish, you do start in the grid in that position, because a couple of times I just took a 2nd or 3rd, and that's where I started. But I won literally probably about 80% of the races I was in, and I actually won it by a mile. So I won 1 race and I won 2 races. So I will return to this game, and there'll be more achievements to talk about in the next video, because there's a couple of negative achievements. By negative achievements, I don't mean points, so you ain't going to lose points, but just doing negative stuff. There's an achievement for losing 100 reputation points in your career. So now I've got up to whatever I'm on, I think it's just over 1,000. I'm going to lose 100 points deliberately. And there's just a couple of other random achievements that I can pick off before I move on totally from this game, so expect to see that pop up in the next one. So above that we have Fractured Minds. This is the super easy completion of the month. Now, the people of Achievement Squad put up a guide for this one. The runtime of the guide is around about 15 minutes. It's super easy to follow as well, even allowing for a little bit of pausing, which I did do. I think I finished in around about 25 minutes, so call it under half an hour even with a guide. Other people that have achievement channels have made guides for this. They just did it first, so I used it, and it was bang on. I always say, by the way, if you're into achievement hunting, there are 3 channels on YouTube you need to follow, and if they throw out a guide, use it. One is Achievement Land, which I spoke about earlier. One is Achievement Squad, who I'm talking about now, and the other is Maca91, who I called my guide guy for ages. He was the only one I used for a while before I discovered these channels, but they're all great channels. I support them all, I use them all, and you'll find many of their guides in my 100% guides that I've used and had 100% success and can vouch for playlists, so please do check that out. And I thought I'd have a little bit of relaxation, a game you can just sit back and play. It's a pinball game, so it can't be that difficult. Only one achievement, and this is not rare. There are achievements for completing all tables, and to be honest with you, I don't know what it takes to complete a table. The first table, which is the easy one, I was around about 20 million points, which was a pirate table, I think it was called. And I don't know what I did there, sorry about that. First table, yes, was called Pirate Table, and that's the only non-rare achievement. Complete the little pirate table. And I got to about the 20 million point mark, and it said table completed. And I thought, oh right, okay, I think you have to do certain things within the table, turn off all the lights so many times, plus hit all these tiles so many times. I really don't know, but I got it. And then that unlocks I thought I just unlocked the table for doing that, but you need to get what's called bloody points to unlock a table. So even if you keep failing a table, you'll unlock another one eventually if you get 20,000 points, which is what I did after I completed that little pirate one on my second attempt. Mad Science one was a lot harder, so eventually I got that done, and I got to around about the 30 million point mark, and I thought I completed the table. So I thought there's definitely a certain point, maybe there's a score you have to get to. Doesn't turn out like that at all, but anyway, it come up as completed. Great, thank you very much. So I kept playing the little pirate table again, because I was getting more bloody points out of that than the Mad Scientist table. And when I eventually unlocked the Frankenstein table, it unlocked when I was only at around about 12 million points, which was bizarre. So there's something you have to do with the levels, but I don't know what. So if you like pinball, just play it, and if you can keep the balls on the table long enough and do the right things, these achievements will unlock. And the same goes for Hard Rocker. Again, I think I was around 20 million points on that, and it unlocks. I got very lucky with that because it came up with table completed, and it was as the last ball had fallen through, and I was like, oh, please unlock, and I was fortunate it did. But it comes up with complete table like a couple of times before it will unlock as well sometimes, so I don't know what the requirements are, but I would suggest if you like pinball games, the tables unfortunately don't differ too much, but there is a little bit of variation in there, so I don't know. I haven't tried playing any bloody challenges. There are like 70 to complete. This is it's a very rare achievement, so either people aren't playing or it is that difficult. I would imagine it can actually be that difficult. Unlock all tables will be doable, because if I can't complete the tables, I can always go back to the little pirate table and just play it over and over and over again. So I will play this table. I hopefully may unlock. Well, I will unlock the other tables. I may complete them, I may not, but this achievement I will definitely have before I move on from this game. But I put quite a lot of time into just unlocking these 4 achievements. Well, it's really these 3 achievements here at the top. This one actually unlocked within no time at all. It was my second attempt, I got it. But it's an alright little pinball game. There are better pinball games out there. But it was cheap. I picked it up in the sale for £1.99. I think it's £3.99 full price. And finally above that is Gears Pop, a mobile game that I'm visiting frequently. I'm at a stage where achievements won't come easily and quickly, but I've now overtaken 1,000 pieces of cover in all versus modes and added a little 30G achievement to that. So ladies and gentlemen, that is everything that I've earned in the first half of November. I would just like to thank you for watching. Please do leave any comments about any questions about any games, like I said at the beginning, past or present, in the comment section below. I will get around to reading them. I will answer all of them as best I can. And yes, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and as always, take care.